Okay, I'd like to call to order the Oxford Area Cable Communication Commission meeting for Monday, June 26th, 2023. Can we stand and pay our respects to the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call.
Hunwick,
Here.
Catherine,
Here.
John Hawkins,
Here.
Karen,
Here.
Mo, here. That's it.
We're all here?
We're all here.
Item 4, approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Can I make a comment beforehand to change the wording on 10C and from proposal to discussion, please?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you mean consideration
You
to
mean
discussion?
consideration, yes.
Or consideration, either one.
Well, what's it going to be? Consideration?
Consideration is fine.
I have to cross out.
Sorry.
Okay.
Thanks, Karen.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
Okay.
I'll second that.
It's not modified anymore, is it?
Well, I don't know, I thought you were changing something to
With
discussion.
changes,
What's the change?
just the wording on
Like we're
10C.
sticking with or consideration.
Consideration, right.
Consideration
From
is how it was.
proposal to consideration, 10B.
Does this,
Oh, I thought we were
Oh,
on
10B.
10C.
10C
C.
it says consideration.
No, that says to hire Mike Watts to join Protect.
do I have the wrong, I must have
I
the wrong
think we're looking
agenda.
at different agendas,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, sorry.
What's the problem?
I now have the updated agenda.
So
I
is
had
it
a
10B that
older
we want
one.
to change?
Let me see what it says. Consideration to hire, no. Discussion, let me read it, hang on.
Proposal.
10B.
It's
yeah.
10B that we
Sorry.
want to change. Nope, good.
So what do you want?
Consideration to join Protect, 10B.
So you still want consideration? Okay.
Right, it says proposal.
Are we good?
We are now.
Are we
Yeah,
good?
no.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion. It's been supported.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approval of the agenda, way up here. I'm down there. Minutes. Item 6, minutes of the meeting of May 22nd, 2023.
Did you skip a 5?
Public comments.
Oh, I'm sorry. Public comments not on the. I'm sorry.
This is
We're gonna be
going
here.
real
We're gonna be
well.
here all night.
Yeah, we are going to be here all night. Public comments on items not on the agenda. Kyle, have you thought about anything yet? No? Nothing? Okay.
Man, a few words.
Item 6, the minutes of the meeting of May 22nd, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 22nd, 2023 meeting.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to approve. We have support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 7, the bill review. 7A. Bill run for 5/8 to 6/5. It's on pages 5 through 10. When I was looking on the yeah, it's not on. You're approving the top number, correct?
Yes.
Yes. On page
7.
7 of 38.
Gosh, I can't get rid of it.
Make a motion to approve bills in the amount of $26,927.74 as presented.
Support.
We have a motion. It's been supported. Roll call, please.
Helmuth, yes. Karen,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Catherine,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay. 7B and 7C are for receive and file. That's the revenue and expense report and the general ledger distribution report, pages 11 through 15. Do you have any questions, concerns?
I'll make a motion to receive and file consent agenda or bill review 7B and C.
I'll
Support.
second.
Okay, we have a motion. It's been supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. A, B, C. Item 8A, Michigan Class Investment. This is our new vehicle for our money. Joe's handling this, right? As
Yep.
far as
We're not doing too bad with that.
No, it's better.
Better than what we were doing with
so
that.
it's page 16.
Mm-hmm.
It's a report on our funds
Mm-hmm.
that Joe transferred. What do they call this?
That's an investment pool.
Through the state of Michigan?
Yes, Michigan investment pool. And then we have the county investment pool, which is where he transferred the majority of those funds from.
Right, I know about the county, but this
Yeah.
is
This is the Michigan one.
this is a Michigan version of the
Mhm.
county?
Yep.
Okay.
They just basically moved the entire investment over.
Oh, there was a couple $100 left in the other one. Do I have a motion to receive and file? 8.
I'll make a
A.
motion to receive and file the Michigan Class Investment Pool.
Support.
We have a motion that's been supported. Is there any questions regarding this? No?
No.
Just making sure everybody's on page or with this? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 8B is the Oakland County Investment Pool, where our money was previously stored. We only have
$700.
$741
Yep.
and 65 cents. I'm assuming you left that in there just to keep the account open in case we want to
Yeah.
move back and forth.
Actually, the balance is 465.08.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and why do we keep it open?
To be able to move it back and forth if we need to.
Oh.
And you're right, it's for
Oh, it is 465 already. I'm
Yes,
making
you're
this
looking
one
at
here.
it.
Sorry.
I always do that. This is not the right number. Anyways, we left Joe left $465 in there, which I think is a good idea, just to keep the account open, in case there's a need to go back to it for whatever reason. So, I need a motion to receive and file.
I'll make a motion to receive and file the Oakland County Investment Pool report dated June 6, 2023.
I'll second.
We have a motion that's been supported. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 8C is a letter from the Park and Rec Director regarding the trash hauling. He basically is providing information to support the change, and based on what I read, we save a substantial amount of money.
It looks like it could average out to be a payment of $58 a month, as opposed to, it was increasing from like 120 something to 148 and then back down to 121. And so I'm comfortable at saying it's going to be somewhere between 58 and 70
58 and 70.
a month that we'll be paying
For 2024 or for starting
from
immediately?
now on.
Oh, well, you got 40, he's got 4108.
Right, and I was looking at the figures that we've paid already, so I averaged it out, and I'm comfortable with a higher number than what he's saying.
Yeah, okay, but it's still a substantial
Yep.
savings.
Yeah.
Sure is.
If there's any questions regarding this,
I'll continue to ask if you want me to.
no,
Okay.
at least we're saving some money.
Yep.
Do I have a motion, receive and file?
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion, it's been supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 9A, discussion of the next, Cable Communication Commission, meeting date. Are we meeting in July?
Scheduled for July. That's scheduled for July. Let me look at the date.
The 24th.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, my anniversary.
Oh, it's your anniversary. My birthday, your anniversary. We're
Oh,
just
I know. If there's any,
Do we want to meet? Is there any, issues with anybody not being able to meet?
I have no life, I'll be here.
I don't plan on anything big being on the agenda in July.
You wanna skip it?
Skip it.
I say do it.
I would support, skipping July in case people have
vacation.
vacation plans or something going on for the weekend. They don't have to.
If something comes up, holler, we'll schedule a special.
Okay,
Okay, so then we will not be meeting in July. We'll be meeting when? August?
August, and that would be the 28th. That's the next scheduled meeting.
Beautiful. Okay,
Do we need a motion on that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Of July?
Mm.
Be 24th.
No, the
No, no,
28th in
August
July of
28th.
August.
August 28th, I'm sorry. You're right.
9B, Volunteer Appreciation Picnic. We
Yep.
discussed this at the last meeting.
I'm gonna carry
I'm not
on.
sure why it's back on here. You were given
Just
the,
want to let you know I'm going to carry on with it, and I'm going to invite everybody here. If you would like, I can invite your boards, so I want your direction on that.
I would say no,
No, okay.
unless we're gonna charge them.
Okay, no,
They're
we're
not
not.
volunteers.
And I still don't think it's going to be more than $250.
with all, we would have to have, that would be a public meeting, wouldn't it? If we everybody.
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah,
would.
we'd have
Sorry,
to-
my bad.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't. As long as you don't discuss business.
You don't.
have
you-
to.
What are we all gonna get together and do, Catherine, if we're not
I don't make a
discussing?
decision, you can gather.
We're gonna eat.
What's that?
As long as you don't make a decision, you can gather.
Yes, as long as we're not making
You
any.
can take in information, you can participate, you
No
can't,
decision, you're right.
you can't make a decision on discussed business, so. That's open, you can.
It's
Dustin, by the way.
But perception is not good. Sometimes.
I don't disagree with that, but,
Yeah.
you know, at the same time, then, I mean, it,
Okay,
All
so,
right,
uh,
we're good.
what do we want to do with this? You're just informing us.
Yes, and I just got your opinion on the boards, so life is good. I'll just carry on. It's going to be August 18th,
August 18th. Okay.
It's a Friday?
a Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock, at the studio.
And
Are we-
we're all invited?
Yes,
Do we get to go to the splash
send
pad
you-
and run through the water if it's a hot
you
day?
can if you want. Bring your
It's hot
bathing
enough.
suit. Yep,
All right, so we can move on with that. I don't think we need to do anything formal with that. 10A, new business. A
so
review,
this is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
the review of the Oxford TVs and the Oakland,
Oh, yeah.
Oxford Area Cable Communication Commission insurance renewal. Decker Insurance, so there was you're offering us options for lower premiums.
This is Dustin Drabeck, actually, and he's here from the insurance company.
Oh, you're the insurance
We've never
guy.
had him before this
Oh.
board before, and he's been with us for 6 years. I was concerned about lowering our premium and asked him to come and
Oh.
explain to you the impact of that. If
I'm,
it's lowered.
I hate to ask this, Karen, but given your background, I was just kind of hoping you would give us some kind of guidance, what your thoughts are for the premiums as far as what our liability coverage should be.
So, yeah, he's the expert, but,
I know
What
he's
are
the
we-
expert, but he's selling the product, and I'm looking for.
Do we have what we had and what we're proposing now and what the differences are?
You wanna
and-
come up there and,
Packet.
and, and to the
It's up.
podium?
It's on page, Karen, page 22.
Yeah, I've got it in front of me, but I don't see what we were paying last time.
Yeah, it doesn't show a current, but
The premium has gone up besides.
To
Do you have that?
10,283,
From what? From what?
950.
It was 96 last year?
Yep, yeah, I can answer some of those questions.
Go for it.
Okay. Thank you for having me. So this year's proposed premium is 10,283. The proposed increase is 21% or $1,843.
that's the increase from last
Correct.
to previous?
Correct.
What are we covered for all that?
Great question, sir. So the way you guys are set up, okay, first of all, your building exists on township property, so we are not responsible for the parking lot. We are responsible for your building and the contents on the inside of that building, okay? Then we are responsible for any of the travel and personal automobiles while on company time, as well as anybody who is appointed, elected, hired, or a volunteer of Oxford Cable. So for example, when you guys all left your home today to come to here, you were my responsibility. As you're driving in your personal vehicle, let's say you hit a deer. Your personal auto would fix the car, I would cover the deductible. And if unfortunately you create any liability issues like hitting another car, property, building, I would cover that for you. We cover, for example, right now, Kyle, is that his name? Kyle? Everything Kyle has with him right now is all mine. It's all my responsibility. So as this young man travels in his vehicle, even though he owns his vehicle, right? Everything inside of there is us, the cameras, the tripods, as you guys go on site, as you guys go to trainings, okay? We provide building coverage, and then all of the contents and what we call in the marine. See, right now what Kyle is doing is he has taken contents from the building, he's transported it outside of there, he's created what is now in the marine. And so all of those things I cover for you guys. Now, as I've talked about at the renewals every year, I'm not going to sit there because, sir, I'll pick up on what you said and you make a very plain point. I'm just the one selling it. I'm not that kind of insurance salesman. I don't really like where the premium was going this year. As I was saying earlier, insurance has been nasty. And though we've increased the building limit on the property, okay, a lot of it is rate. It's just rate going up. For me to provide you with X amount of liability and coverage, it's gone up. So I'm not going to sit there and blow smoke at that one. What I did bring up though, okay, and what I believe in is providing insurance for exposures, right? We have to look at, I mean, what are we really exposed to? What are we really opened up to? You had a $5 million worth of liability, okay? This is $5 million right up front with no aggregate. So this is all occurrence based.
This is what we currently have.
Correct. Yes. And so I'm basically giving you a bucket of $5 million every time you have a problem. And then if you have it multiple times a year, you're getting $5 million every single time. We do not aggregate like you would traditionally see on a normal commercial policy, $1 million with a $2 million ag, and then I've got some monster umbrella that you can tap into, God forbid, right? You got to understand that I insure 264 municipal entities. You guys have more insurance than almost half of my townships, villages, and cities based on size, right? When you look at what you're responsible for and what you're doing and really where your liability is, you don't have that much. If that parking lot was ours, maybe I could understand, staying up that high. I will be fair with you. We purchased you from an older agent 6 years ago. If this was today and you asked me to bid you out, I'd say all you need was $2 million. I think that $5 million is a little high, and it's expensive. I have plenty of townships and cities and other municipalities at $2 million. And I'm saying this not because my premium has gotten high. I just think that there's appropriate coverage and appropriate premium. I don't like to doomsday you. I could scare you in about 5 minutes on why you would need this, that, and the other. What I'm trying to say to you is that if we actually look at what our exposure is as an operation and what our exposure is in terms of liability, it's very small. Please keep in mind, okay, you also carry a media liability for everything that you put onto the air. That's totally separate, and that has its own $1 million liability coverage over there. What we're strictly talking about here is the property and the overall general liability of your operations. So you've still got another $1 million over there for whatever goes on the screen.
So what?
Question.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Maybe you don't know this. I don't know if you do. Maybe Terry would. Do we have an umbrella policy that?
No, because right now you don't need one. And the
Well,
reason,
obviously.
yeah, the reason being is
I
because
believe
we're
that.
supplying with $5 million right up front.
Right, because umbrella policies are a lot less expensive, and I don't see $5 million policies, just like you said. I don't.
don't.
Either. You
Right.
see I see million. I see 2 million.
And the thing is and the reason is because the way you guys are structurally formed, most commercial insurances won't even touch. You are not formed because, these two went out there and they formed a business. You are a group of a municipal entity that got together and funds this thing. So there's not a lot of people that, can understand what it is. Our program is strictly municipal. So this is what it's geared towards. Because I will say this, it was a tragedy what took place here at the high school. Imagine whatever you guys took on and did, we had a broad enough policy that was specialized to take on anything that, God forbid, might happen to us as we are basically reporting the news. You get into a lot of restrictions on the commercial side. Umbrellas also, too. Umbrellas are only there to pull from when we need it. You know what I mean?
Right, but they're cheap.
They are cheap. They are cheap.
Who's our insurer?
So we insure through Michigan Township Participating Plan, which is reinsured by Tokyo Marine.
Tokyo Marine.
Second largest reinsurer in the world, sir. Right behind Lloyd's of London.
So, what about us?
You're all covered.
For what?
Yeah, how much?
Okay, you gotta.
Directors and officers policy.
Yeah, you gotta, yeah. Okay, yeah, thank you, good point. So right now, you brought up, when you guys all get together, let's say somebody did want to hit you with a Open Meetings Act violation. I cover that, right? I cover, you all, like you said, as you drive and you go about, I cover your decision making. If you guys decide to pick a topic that's extremely controversial and jump on that and run with it, and somebody over in this pool of people don't like it, and they want to file a claim or a lawsuit against you, that's something that I'm going to defend, or that's something that we're going to cover you with liability coverage. She's right. You have E&O, errors and omissions. You have all.
We're covered for any potential lawsuits that are thrown at us for whatever we did as a board. or
As long as you're not
individual.
grossly negligent, yes. I mean, in
Not
a
if we're
very
not
broad way
gross
of what you
neg-
just said, as long as you're not grossly negligent, yes.
Which means you intentionally did something wrong. Gross
Oh, yeah,
negligence.
okay, well, no. But we're covered as a board individually
Yes,
for,
For defense and liability.
correct.
so if it involves particular one instance, say, I don't know, we did something that upset somebody and they sued us, are we each covered for 5 million, or the whole thing is 5 million?
Board.
The board is 5 million, because we did it something as a group.
And we're not covering a lawsuit per se. We're defending you within it, right?
You have
And-
coverage amounts.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, though, I will say this, just so everybody knows, we're not in it to win. We're in it to settle as fast as possible and get you out as cheap as possible. A lot of people don't like that, but that's just insurance. You don't want to be right and have to pay a $5 million lawsuit. I mean,
Sexual harassment covered under this.
correct? Yes, yep.
You worried?
What about the
No, I
auto?
think we all know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's not us. That's
Yeah.
What?
It was an employee.
Yeah,
oh yeah, that's true.
yeah.
So are you recommending that we go from 5 million to 2 million?
No, I am giving you the options for you all to determine how you'd like to handle the insurance going forward. And what I'm letting you know is that I'm not scared if you do go down to 2 million. That's what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, this is your policy, and I'm not here to dictate to you. What I'm here to do is to administer it and to be a good steward of your protections and liabilities going down the road. And what I'm trying to say is that in no way, shape, or form am I scared or unconfident if you came down in your liability coverage. I'm also trying to say this because I believe in the long-term relationship and not the short-term relationship. Premium and more commission is not my interest, sir. My interest is being a steward to your guys' board. And
I appreciate that. So, from my perspective, I guess I would like to get, you're probably the most senior government official here, aren't you?
Thanks.
But you play senior softball.
But based on your experience, where do you think we should be?
I'd like to run these numbers by Bob Davis, who will tell me really quick if we need this much, if he feels comfortable. Bob's big on insurance, man. Our trash haulers, they're insured.
Let me preface some of that though. You guys have to look at the context, okay? You have to look at, and the only reason I say this is because, for example, if I have a municipality with a fire department, 5 million. I don't even think twice. 5 million. You have law enforcement mixed in there, 5 million. You got law enforcement, 5 million, right? You have to take into context how much your buildings are, what your exposures are. Are you running parks, water, sewer, right? We have to be careful because one person's opinion, coming out of a large municipality or a small municipality is different than what your footprint is. Let's be fair, okay? Look at Oxford Township, look at the village of Oxford. Those are two totally different beasts, right? They have different exposures, and we get that mixed up all the time in who is what and what is who. So not that I don't say don't do that, but we have to understand what it is. Like, for example, if he would tell you, they would think your building you own. You do own the building, but you don't own the park. You don't own the parking lot. Slip and falls are not your responsibility.
Well, unless it's inside the building.
Touche. But we're talking about a building that's ran and operated, currently have staff present whenever, there, when you look at your construction and when you look at your infrastructure there, it's modern and it's new. I'll be fair with you, ma'am, you make a really good point. If that was a 60-year-old building, yeah, I'd be a little more concerned. The thing that I don't get concerned about is, like you said, you see nice flat entryways and beautiful walls and modern construction. The thing that, we would have is a shoe catching carpet, right? And even if they fell, okay, that would fall to the work comp because more than likely it would be an employee. I mean, how often do we actually have the general public or even somebody like me walking around in that building? Not very often.
Why do we need 2 million? Why not $1 million?
Because, I would say, and this has always been my argument, because there is no aggregate, in this day and age, $1 million just doesn't go far. And because, like you said, you brought up another good point, ma'am. If someone's got $1 million with a $2 million ag out there, they're usually coupling like a $1 million umbrella on the back end of that stuff.
So why couldn't we get a $1 million quote on the general liability and a quote for an umbrella?
I could do that. I just didn't think you guys would want to.
I don't know if in my line of work, that's what I see all the time. I see mostly $1 million coverages on properties, and then generally if it's a large company, there's a big umbrella.
Right. Yeah. You see a 1-2 with a 5 or a 10 umbrella. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just for context, why do you see all that? What do you?
Because I'm an insurance defense litigation attorney.
Impressive. So
Nailed it.
And I also work for an insurance
Mic
company.
drop.
So from my standpoint, I don't have a commercial outfit that doesn't have exactly what you just said. You know what I mean?
So I'm just wondering, like, if we're talking, because this is a lot of money.
Right.
So I'm all for lowering this, but why not have that option too to see what an umbrella would cost with a $1 million?
That's fine.
But that's just
we
me
write
throwing
we
out.
write just to be fair, we write excesses and not umbrellas on this program. That's just so you know.
Excess versus umbrella.
Umbrellas and excess, the way they're drawn off, they basically run parallel. It's just the way you draw from them. I mean, there's really no difference.
It's the same thing. I don't see excess policy.
I don't see them. I'll be fair with you. I don't see much of a difference either. But I've been nitpicked on comparing one to the other.
Yeah, because if you're going to get an umbrella, then you might as well just do the $1 million limit. There's no reason to do 2 in an umbrella. That's what the umbrella's for.
Right.
And in my experience, the umbrellas are not that expensive. I mean, they cost money,
Well,
but
we are talking commercial umbrellas though. You guys, this municipal policy, we are an enigma in insurance. We're very unique. It's the whole reason we've been around for 40 years. There's only maybe 2 other companies like us in the state, and you won't find it very. I couldn't even write you guys into commercial. The second they heard publicly formed, out. Nobody wants it. I can get down to $1 million. I can put an excess together. I can do those things.
Here's my take on this. I'm concerned about the building and all that sort of thing, but my biggest concern is me. and you.
The D,
and
and that's
you
what
and
your
you.
directors and officers
we,
policy
we,
is for.
we are here as a board, and we have some certain exposure sometimes. I'm
Right.
probably not, I'm sure we probably won't incur any type of legal action against us,
Well, you never know.
but you never know. And my concern is me and the rest of you. And I want to make sure we're adequately insured for that.
We're all bonded, right?
Correct. Can I ask $100,000 at minimum, and then we have some additional sublimits above and beyond for specific positions. We do not insure the body, we insure the position. Sir, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Before now, have you ever made a decision differently because of the insurance?
That insurance never played a part. I just, always made sure, because you can ask Terry, I always made sure that we're insured for what we do here.
Right. But
But-
you've always put the best foot forward.
Right.
You guys have made the best decisions that you possibly could. You've documented. You look at every aspect before you take in and you make a decision, right? I'll tell you right now, you could do all that and still have somebody have an issue with it, right? And that's where we would come in to the defense side of it. So I'm never going to be one to sit there and say covered. We're just, okay, how's it worded? How's the claim coming in? How's the loose lawsuit being, how did you guys portray something onto the news? The other thing we got to think about is, did somebody decide to go crazy and rogue, and, do we isolate a board member out? I don't know. There's just so many different situations that can come into play.
But you made a point to bring up a touchy subject of what occurred here a couple of years ago.
Correct.
And all those different board members, they have basically the same perspective going into their job. They're not thinking about anything but doing what's right for the community.
Correct.
And they're all facing pretty big lawsuits right now.
And not
Insurers are defending them.
not to
Well, I
throw-
know that, but they need to be adequately insured for that. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Well, and not to throw any kind of gas on that fire, but right now, and if I haven't read anything great, I've heard that governmental immunity is coming into play for a lot of them, and that this might not even transpire.
Well, two of them, it's not apparently, but that's probably going to happen. But my still concern is I'd rather make sure that we have adequate coverage for ourselves than to worry about our personal assets being attacked because we weren't adequately insured for something we may have done as a board. And again, we are just a small little entity. I'm not even sure what we could do to spur any type of legal action, but I want to make sure if something does come up, we're covered.
Sir, you do make a good point there, and that's another thing that I guess I bring up to you all is, again, going back to what are we, who are we, and what do we do, right? And what is our footprint? I don't try to minimize insurance by saying, you're this little minute village and, you've got a wood burning stove still in there and, you stoked a fire. You do have to keep that stuff in mind, but also understand that in your history of the service that you provided, you guys have been clear cut and dry because you've done the right things and you've documented and you made the correct decisions. I think that insurance is going to be, I said it before we even started here, insurance is the price is getting scary, not because, for lack of a better word, there's a lot of fear mongering going on. I'll just bring this up. I say this to everybody. That hurricane in Fort Myers broke the camel's back. The states are realizing that these insurance companies are not crying wolf. They need the rate. For 6 companies going solvent down in Florida, that's a big deal. We're not writing in California. We're talking about Louisiana and southern Texas, and the insurance companies are basically saying, no, we're not going to do it anymore, or you're going to pay this rate. And so the way I look at this is I think that in a couple of years, hopefully stuff will cool back down, and then we refresh and we relook at things again. Just because you switch doesn't mean you're locked, and you don't have to make a decision now either. So I want you to understand that if you make an adjustment in a month from now, after you maybe want to think about it, because I'll be fair with you, we can still go and endorse and get that money back for you. So just know that if you continue with the $5 million, that doesn't mean you're stuck for the rest of the year. If you make a decision to drop down $1 million or drop down $2 million, you're more than welcome to at any point in time during the year. You have that ability. And to be fair with you, if you kind of do feel something brewing, you call me quick enough and I'll move it around, and you know what I mean? That sounds a little sketchy, but it is very possible.
you're on TV right now.
I forgot about that. I apologize.
Are employees covered by this?
Anybody who is appointed, elected, hired, or even down to a volunteer for liability.
Perfect.
I look at it this way: you can move this policy any way you want to go at any point in time.
When do we renew?
July
July.
27th.
July 27th. I personally, if I'll take a motion or can do whatever we want, but I think we should go to 3 million, but no lower than that.
I think we should get a price for. I'm sorry, are you making a motion?
No, I'm not. I'm just throwing a suggestion out
We
there.
can go
But
back at any time, right?
I can, if you don't listen, you don't have to do anything today. I came here, because I'd asked the director. I
yeah,
said,
but we're not meeting again until August 28th.
I realize that. At the same token, like you said,
Yeah, you can make a change anytime during the policy period.
and also know this: we do not come knocking on your door, pay your money, or you want to renew. Our agency has been a strong steward of all of our communities for a long time. So if you don't meet in July, okay, I can get the quote for the million with the excess. We can have the information sent out and dispersed. If you guys have an August meeting and want to make the decision, then we'll be there for you. We're still going to renew you on July 22nd. If we don't bill you for the 5 million, or we bill you for the 3 million, or we bill you for the one with the excess, that'll be up to you guys.
You're on TV, so.
Are you
I just-
following? Are you following the whole one with the excess? It's going to get you that 3 million, if not probably 6, because he's probably going to propose some kind of 5 million.
There's no aggregate. It'll be a 1 million with, I could go a 1 million access, maybe a 2 million access. It won't be a million with the 2 ag and then an umbrella.
No, access. I said.
Yeah, access.
Right,
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
say
a-
ag.
Well, you said you'll just have that excess with that 1 million ag. With that 1 million, right? So you have that
No
2
ag.
there, but after that, once you go through that excess, it's gone.
So there's no
Right,
ag.
but what I'm saying is he wants 3 million right now, and what I'm saying is I'm saying let's get a quote for the million plus the excess. That excess can be a million, 2, 3, 5.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
So
yes.
what I'm saying is get a quote for the price, because maybe it'll be to our benefit to write a 1 million with the excess with a 2 million excess. Why pay the money, Ed?
Oh, I'm not. I totally
Okay.
agree.
Right, and it still gets you to what you're proposing is 3,
Okay.
unless we want to propose
I just
more.
want to make sure we're adequately covered here.
I've said this time and time again to a lot of personal lines clients when we're talking about liability limits and things like this, and I always ask them, I said, how many people have you hit? 60, 70, 80 years old? No one, never. You know what I mean? You guys have done good things and you've been in good positions because of the decisions that you've made. I could show you the other side of the coin with other people. And I'll be very fair with you. If it was something I didn't think, I wouldn't say. I've been at other entities where I was like, in no way, shape, or form. I can't. So,
Okay, so you can come back with those quotes.
yes, sir.
And then we can do an email exchange and we can look
Yeah.
at it from that perspective.
Yeah,
And then,
if we don't vote on it till August, then we'll get a credit back for whatever we decide to downgrade to,
all right, fine.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
He calls me man.
I'm not that old. Sometimes I feel old.
Don't do it to me.
Everybody gets silly, man.
All right,
Sure, that nice gentleman is 20 years
Call me
younger than me. So,
counselor.
Hey,
Okay.
lady.
are there any other questions?
Thank you.
Go
Yeah,
forth
thank you
and
very much.
Ensure.
Go forth and insure.
There you go.
Sure.
Sir, I promise I am not an insurance con man.
Oh, I'm not. You don't even come across that way. I'm just.
No.
You're on one side of the fence and we're on the other side of the fence, and when you're selling a product and we have to be the one to purchase the product, and
I agree with you on that, but I will say this. I have unfortunately ridden a handful of waves with my clients, and I don't fall out from it, and it doesn't leave me. I have been in some bad spots, not because, but I've always had you in the right position.
and I appreciate that. My personal insurance guy tells me the same thing. He meets with me once a year, and sometimes I think he's helping me out. Sometimes I wonder if he's doing what's best for him too. But it's fine.
Okay. No, I just wanted to instill the confidence that it's not, it's not a sales gimmick. It's what does the community need? We are fortunate to have 264 municipal entities, and being a good steward and partnership, I've had relationships, they've been a part of our agency for 25 plus years. So that's the goal, is protection.
Okay. Thank you very much.
good.
I appreciate your time and your presence here and your information.
If
Thank
you guys
you.
need me in August, I've said this to please just let me know. I'll be here.
we'll let Terry know, and she can let you know.
Would it be okay if I excuse myself to?
Oh, yeah. You don't need to be here
Thank
for the
you.
rest of us.
He's got kids he's got to get to games
Yeah.
and stuff.
Most
He
people
does
just
say-
leave when they're done.
That would be rude.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, have a good
Bye-bye.
one.
A good one.
Okay, 10B, consideration to join Protec. Terry.
Okay, so, what you see, I've included in the packet is the meeting that Dave and I went to, in Lansing. And basically that meeting was about, and it was with all public access, management and Donnie Steele from Lake Orion. The providers, the cable providers are lobbying hard, hot, and heavy right now to get rid of franchise fees because there's streaming of Hulu and all the streaming entities are not, they're riding the same bandwidth, but they're not paying the franchise fees. And so Protec is saying they all should be paying franchise fees because they're using public access right-of-ways, right? So Protec is fighting for it. All the cable companies are lobbying against it. So most of you weren't here, but we joined Protec fighting against AT&T because they weren't paying their full franchise fees. And it cost us, but they also won. And we did get money back. We got $1,000 or $2,000 more than what we put out. I think we put out $6,000. So all that to say, if we join Protec, they will also fight with and for us against the cable companies. It's how much per?
I looked,
forget,
it's
it's
12.5
cents.
It's 12.5 cents, but
Per
I had to
person.
guess on the population of Leonard and Addison, and 8,000, is that right, combined?
We looked it up. I've got the figures right here.
Anyways, I came up
Okay.
with 30,000, and it came out to $3,700.
Downtown
Oxford
Leonard, it's
Township is
35
22.
or 350 or something like that. Or,
350,
yeah, it's
yeah.
pretty small.
I was using
less
a
than
high number. I thought 8,000 was a good number. I know what the township and the village are, and I just figured another. So even if it's less than 30,000, it's less than. But at 30,000, it's $3,700 in change.
I've got 42 altogether with, so for Oxford Township, according to the census of 2021, there were 22,000,
2020.
sorry, 22,400. The Village of Oxford was 3,400 or 3,500 actually. Addison is 6,200 and Leonard was 377 at 12.5 cents,
So you have total how many?
$4,200.
No, the population.
I have 22,000 for Oxford.
Not the village and the
Altogether.
township combined?
The village and the township of Oxford combined is
26.
2,600.
26,000.
I'm sorry, 1,000.
I thought it was 22.
That was as of
Exact-
Are you looking
2020.
at 2010 numbers? These are updated 2020 numbers.
So you're.
It's 22
It
for
could
the
be more.
township, yeah.
It's 22 for the township only? Okay. I thought it was combined 22.
So to join Protec per year would be $4,200. On top of that, and more of an impact on the communities, if they lose the franchise fee fight, Addison Township will lose $40,000 out of their general fund per year, because that's half of what they pay in franchise fees. They keep half. The Township of Oxford won't lose. I mean, they give it away anyhow. The Village of Oxford would lose $20,000 out of their general fund, and I figured that from this July on. Leonard keeps it all anyhow, but it's a $5,000 loss for them. AT&T, there's a $7,000 in Addison. AT&T Oxford Township is $25,000, Village is $4,000, and $600 for Leonard. So there's a good cost to each community if we don't join Protec and have them fight for us. That's not to say Protec is going to win. However, It's
I
a-
need, yeah, I
a
just
gamble.
wanted Terry to make sure that the board, because Catherine and I represent the township of Oxford, and the township of Oxford provides 100% of everything that provided to them for the cable commission. So the township of Oxford is not going to be out anything if franchise fees goes away. It won't be missed at all because it's not in their budget. But for the other three communities, it's in your budget. And well, in Addison, it's somewhat
Substantial.
substantial,
It's what they use for oiling their roads.
but it's still a substantial amount of money.
Substantial, huge. Yeah.
And for the village, it's a fair amount of money as well of Oxford. And Leonard, it's still a hit. I don't know how it reflects
I
to
think
your
they were
budget.
still. I talked to Michael last meeting. We're still waiting on an audit report. So like we still want to pay for it, but I guess there's waiting for the audit report. That's the last thing I heard. I guess it takes a while, but I have no idea.
But anyways,
I think
you
it's like
guys
2
have
years
some
they do
skin
it.
in the game as far as the loss of franchise fees, where the township of Oxford isn't going to realize any kind of pain at all because they don't. They provide they provide all the funding that they get.
So it's 47,000 altogether for Addison.
So
Almost 50 grand a year.
it's important for you three to realize what it means to your communities. If
I think it's important for all of us.
well, it is, but
No.
it's
We can lose the
important for
I
station.
don't care how much money
your
Oxford
budget.
Township does or doesn't get. We have to decide, do we want to protect the cable commission? Because that's what this is
Yeah.
about.
It
We
is.
want to protect those franchise fees, then we have to join Protect. If we don't, then we don't join. Do we have $4,500 in the budget to cover this?
Because the village has decided to give us more funding,
Well, you're welcome.
that's where I could
That's a
take it
bad
from.
check.
But then I'm backtracking on what I told them we would do. I'd still do some of what I told them we'd do, but that would save us this budget this year. And then I'd reconfigure the budget next year,
How long does this,
per year,
oh, it's per year until we opt out or until?
till we opt out, yep. And we can opt out at
that
any
or
time.
until a decision is
Protect
made by
wins.
the lawmakers as to what's going to happen.
Oh, it'll be something else. then.
Right, but you're saying that they're actually gonna file a lawsuit, so are we funding the lawsuit? Is that what we're doing?
They're fighting right now in Congress and in the state level.
They're lobbying.
They're lobbying, is what this is for, what they're getting funds from communities for, to be able to lobby to fight that. No lawsuit has been filed yet.
The cable companies are petitioning the lawmakers to rescind the law because the law states they have to provide X amount of funding. They feel that is not relevant any longer. As Terry
Well,
said.
because
Because
of all the
Netflix.
streamers
Yeah,
using the
because of
same
Netflix
bandwidth.
and Hulu and all the rest of them.
Yeah.
They feel that they're being unjustly,
Penalized.
directed to provide all this funding when they're not. So they want to be opted out. So the lobby is the monies is going for the lobbyists to convince the lawmakers not to change the law
Or to expand it.
or expand the law.
Expand it, which is what they're really pushing for.
So-
Because they're using these bandwidths and these rights of ways for free. And they're actually on the backs of Charter, AT&T, Comcast, the ones that are already established and paying. So they have a good argument. They really do.
So if the lawmakers change the funding, then this commission doesn't exist anymore. Because there won't be any
Well,
funding
there won't be
coming
any
in.
funding, so.
Right.
Yeah.
We won't
The
exist.
cable commission,
Right, this
And the
commission
station
here.
would be-
OCTV would not exist. I mean,
Too.
Well, even the commission wouldn't exist
Right,
with no
plus
funding
there's
coming in.
something
It wouldn't exist. So to your point, Mo, you're right. It's important to this whole commission, but it does have a bearing to your respective communities somewhat.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer to me that we would, I mean, because who else is gonna be the voice of
Right.
the local TV? I mean,
Most people don't even understand that they need a voice. Most communities don't understand that.
So because of the village's decision, the funds are there in this budget?
They will be.
They will
yeah.
be?
And even if we had to modify the budget, we still have that contingency fund.
Right.
The money's there.
So I'll ask the board what their decision would be, or what their preference would be.
Effective, like if effectuate, like how is this effectuated? Like you just cut a check to somebody, or is there an agreement that
We fill in an application, we fill out an application, and then they'll notify us. We've never had an issue with them, just right away. We were part of their Protect group previously.
and then they keep us apprised of what's happening? and-
Yes, and then I'll keep you apprised of it.
Well, when was the last time you said the AT&T thing was a while ago? Is that the last time
I'd
you
say
used
2014 maybe?
And that was the last time you used Protect? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess we would have to decide as a entity here on an annual basis whether we want to keep
Right.
renewing.
So we'd be up for renewal next summer again? Okay.
I think it's a January to January. Wait a minute, sorry, July to July.
Oh, so we
Their
would be
fiscal year is in July.
July, so we're just starting,
Yep.
yeah. How many, there's 100 and, how many municipalities are in Protect?
I don't remember. I don't remember what we have here. Hang on. It's a huge list. We don't have the list in here, Dave?
I was gonna say.
Pardon me?
Well, the list was in our packet
It's in
that
your packet. I don't,
we got, Lisa, I got, oh, here's the list.
thank
But,
you.
but this is not for Protect though.
Oh, that's for
uh,
Mike, sorry.
that's Mike's.
That's Mike. I can't remember. It's 100 and something communities.
I thought they had it in their little
I
blurb
thought
here.
it was in
I saw a
here.
number.
Yeah, I did too. 148 or something
Well,
like
it says
that.
100 plus.
Says 100
100
plus.
plus, yeah. Thank you. What page, Dave?
Yeah.
That's on
28.
page 33,
Oh, I have it on page 28.
Oh,
at the bottom, clientele.
Oh, I have, okay.
100
Maybe it's
plus.
in more than one place.
Yeah, that'd be good. I couldn't find it in one.
I'll make a motion to approve the Protect membership at a cost not to exceed $4,500, because I'm not sure you know the amount, right, Terry?
Correct.
Is that a fair motion, like?
Right,
number-wise?
yep, that's fair.
Support.
4,500, not to exceed.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion to provide up to $4,500 for Protect. It's been supported. Roll call.
Karen,
Yes.
Mo, yes. John,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Catherine.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, 10C.
Having, oh, sorry.
What?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Consideration to hire attorney Mike Watsa on a per-visit basis. Terry will give her reasons for wanting to pursue Mr. Watsa. And for what?
So, I've probably said it before, he's the foremost authority on public access cable television in the United States. I've been to conferences where I've asked some legal questions of attorneys, and they're like, sorry, gonna have to get back with you, or you can contact Attorney Watsa. I have a couple questions for him. One is, if we have to disband, I don't know what we would do. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what needs to be done and who would represent us. Or if, say, a community wanted to remove themselves from us, we don't have an attorney that would be able to represent us. So we've had a local attorney in the past, and that was mostly for employee issues. I can see where we could possibly, if this comes down to we lose our franchise fees altogether, we would need representation. He is on a case-by-case basis. We don't have to have a retainer for him. If we're a ProTech member, okay, so he's $450 an hour plus travel, and he travels from Ann Arbor. So I wouldn't ask him to come over here for any particular reason besides something very serious. Except that if we're a ProTech member, it's $325.
Or 350.
Sorry, $350. $425 and $350. And there's been a couple times where I've really wanted to call and ask him some questions, and I know that he's the only guy that would answer correctly and know what he's talking about. We have had advice from, or communities have had advice from attorneys that I'm not comfortable with, and I can't call Mike and say, hey, is this okay, until we retain him. And he does call, he does charge for phone calls.
So are you saying that you have questions now that you want to reach out to him for?
I could see that we could have coming up, especially if a community wants to leave this consortium.
Should we just cross that bridge when we get to it? Or are you just looking for
We could.
open discussion if we ever need to? I mean,
I think that's a lot.
what's that?
I think that's a lot of money. And I'm not saying
Well,
we didn't need
it's
that,
per-
but I don't think we need it now.
It's per
Well, I mean, unless there were
instance.
specific
We
questions,
wouldn't-
I guess I'm wondering what.
Well,
like-
I think she's wanting us to secure the right to ask him if we need to down the road. She's not saying no, because he's not asking for a retainer.
Right, but I guess, are we gonna know if you're reaching out to him for legal advice?
Oh,
on
yeah, you
something?
bet.
Because I mean,
Not-
that's my
Oh,
disconnect
I would let
was.
you know.
Yeah.
Yes, because the second you make a phone call, he's charging us, you know.
He does.
Well, I mean, if he's the foremost knowledgeable attorney on the stuff, it makes sense that we'd go to him, so.
I mean, this isn't something I don't believe we're voting on, other than for us to consider
Right.
We're
down
not
the
spending
road.
any
So if
money.
an issue comes up, then we can vote to, one, retain his services for the issue.
Or permit Terry to make a phone call and get charged for services.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean. Sounds, I mean, okay. I think we're speculating as to whether or not we're gonna need him, so it's like, what are we're just talking about it. Okay.
Yeah. I have a couple questions I'd love to ask him one day, so down the road, if there's other things that come up, I can ask him those two questions at the same time. That he would be the guy to give me the right answer.
All right, on the next agenda item then is the manager's
Gosh, I
report.
gotta find it. So every time I think about, I have to write a manager's report, I keep thinking, well, I don't know what to say. So here it is. I did send an email out to all the communities leaders. I would like very much to do a roundtable discussion, either on a monthly or every 2 or 3 month basis with all the leaders. I did this in Lake Orion and it worked out really well. It kept the community informed as well as the community leaders speaking with each other. And I've heard back from one of them, and that was Oxford Township. Our 60 student tour went amazingly well. We had them do a music video, and it was very cute. And we got permission to use that as one of our bumps, so they are actually at the end of it say that you are watching OCTV, and got great response from the school. Thank you notes from the kids. It was really cute. Let's see. Jim Hughes, who does our news and the voice of our games, has secured a $500 sponsorship and underwriting from the Detroit Wing Company, and they're really excited, and that will be for the fall season. We're looking into getting more sponsorship, underwriting. The sponsorship is they sent food, which is really nice. We've received our second camera that we ordered, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. So the studio is looking great if anybody wants to come in and have a look at it. I originally, on the 3 to 5 year plan, put that we needed tripods for those cameras, and you need heavy duty ones, so I had a $10,000 mark on there. Joe found what we needed online for $250 from a church that was reselling them. So that saved us a lot of money.
Wow.
I'm really happy with that. And this church goes around to other churches and purchases equipment. It looks like they refurbish it. This looked brand new. And so from now on, when we need equipment, I'm going to look at them and save us some money. Our viewership is increased up to 3,500 on YouTube from 10,000 in the last couple of months. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think streaming has a lot to do with it. I'm going to send out the invitations for the picnic by the end of mid-July. If you guys want to go, you're more than welcome to. We're looking into purchasing a hotspot router. We did talk technical stuff the other day. It's a couple $1,000s, but we have dropouts when we are doing streaming. If we're in an area where there's a lot of people with a lot of cell phones, like graduations, football games, we have dropouts. So we need this. We need to purchase it from the cable companies to do so. So that's coming up next. We need some field mic kits. That's coming up. And none of this is over $2,000. And that's still within our $20,000 because we saved, that I've got in our budget, because we saved on the tripods. Anybody know anybody that wants to be on air talent, on camera? Please send them my way. Right now, there's just a few of us, and I'm really not into it anymore. I'm too old for it. I'd be happy to take volunteers. And then we still have no franchise fees from Leonard, but John just explained why, that they're still doing their audit.
I don't know what's taking so long with that, but hopefully get you a good update next time we come.
And if it's a good amount of money, so I would also maybe at our next meeting propose that if they are going to pay it, they could do it like in installments or something, so they don't have that big chunk coming out of their budget.
Yeah, no, I can bring it up for next meeting.
Okay,
That's it?
that's it.
Yep.
Committee reports, technical committee. I met with Terry since our last meeting, and we're going to, I think we discussed this before, we're going to have all the major equipment itemized and provide a replacement cost for anything that's over a certain age, and then we're going to use that as a basis for the equipment or technical equipment for next year's budget, so we can plan accordingly, so we're not going to try not to be blindsided by any unexpected expense. So my goal is with Terry and Dave to have a list of the equipment done by before we decide on our next year's budget, and then we can apply accordingly.
We don't depreciate our equipment.
Pardon me?
We don't depreciate our equipment.
Well, we're not a tax-paying entity. We can depreciate it to sell it.
We always depreciate just for budget. But
Well-
it wasn't like you're saying.
That
You
would
can
be
depreciate it for an asset, but I'm looking at, well, I don't know, like that particular camera there, if it's 10 years old and Terry says, we're on borrowed time with it, we can put into what the replacement cost of that camera is going to be, and we can factor it into next year's budget or the year after. But I just, like I said, I don't want to be blindsided with something that Terry go, oh, this went down, it's $30,000. Well, I need to be prepared. We need to be prepared.
There's a lot of equipment we need to be prepared for.
Well, true, but some of this stuff is probably going to last a lot longer than a couple of years, and I'm just trying to itemize and prioritize what needs to be done first and what we need to be prepared for. The personnel committee didn't meet. There's no reason, right? No. Okay, commissioner comments. Maureen,
Nothing.
No comments.
Karen, John,
No comments.
Catherine.
Have a great 4th of July.
Have a great 4th of July. That's very good. Thanks. I have no comment. Kyle,
Still nothing.
you got to come prepared
Not
one
yet,
day.
huh?
I'll look for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
It's been motion, it's been made, it's been supported. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.